Drill 1 is the banded chest to ring iso hold. So to get set up, we're going to have the gymnastic rings attached to bands. The thicker the band, the harder this drill will be. And the goal, first of all, is to establish your false grip on the rings. We always want to begin with this locked out elbow position, maintaining our false grip. From there, we pull the rings to the bottom of the sternum and we hold. We typically hold for 10 to 15 seconds. We'll then release and repeat, typically for 2 to 3 sets. And the goal of this drill is to improve our strength at end range, at the top of that pull-up before we transition into the dip, because that's where most people are weakest. It's a great tool for building more muscle memory. We just want to ensure that whenever we do this drill, we keep our elbows close to the body and we avoid leaning back, because both of those things are going to make it easier. Drill 2 is the kneeling ring muscle up. For the setup, when standing, we want to be able to comfortably establish a dip position with the rings touching the chest and the elbows almost stacked over the wrists. From there, we want to drop into a kneeling position. Now, our knee position should be directly under the rings or even slightly in front. From there, we're going to sit our butt back towards our heels. We are going to pull the rings to your sternum. We're going to pause, then transition to your dip, and then we're going to slowly return back to the floor. Now, common faults we're going to see in this. Athletes who are very weak at the top of their pull-up will likely speed through this transition because they don't have the capacity to hold that top position before they turn over. And it's really important that we do that to develop strength and awareness of how low we need to actually pull in a ring muscle up. Second of all, it's very common for athletes to excessively use the legs to help them turn over, and we'll notice that they don't pull the rings low enough. Okay, they actually initiate the turnover early, and we see that by the rings spreading apart very early in the pull. So as you can see with Jason here, he keeps them really close until he initiates the turnover. And that's what a successful ring muscle up will look like. Drill 3 is our seated banded ring muscle up. So we're going to be sitting on an elevated surface. From there, we're going to establish our false grip, and it's absolutely fine if your arms aren't locked out for this drill, because we're trying to prioritize the turnover positions. So from here, we're going to pull to the base of our chest, we're going to hold, and then turn over slowly, and then press down to lock out the elbows. And then we're going to do it slowly in reverse. So we're going to come back to the base of the dip, slowly bring the rings to the front of the chest, and then release. So this is really going to strengthen the turnover and give athletes an awareness of what it feels like to actively push down on the rings, because we can have athletes who are very strong at pull-ups and very strong at dips, but they don't understand that constant tension we require through the turnover. Common faults we want to look out for here is athletes leaning back excessively as they perform the pull, or rushing through that transition, because that's likely the weak spot in their movement. So really what we should do here is pause at the chest, then slowly turn over, once again pause in the dip, and then dip out. Once we've established strength and consistency in the previous 3 drills, we come to the band assisted ring muscle up. So as a training tool, we want to use a band around the rings. The thicker the band, the easier this drill will be. And throughout, we want to maintain that false grip position. Now, the band may or may not place you on the floor depending on the thickness and resistance of the band and then your own body weight. Unlike the previous drills, we want to add in a little bit more speed to actually mimic the ring muscle up. So Jason's going to give us a demo here. Now, whether we dip out or not is entirely up to you. Generally, as a training tool, we don't want to dip out of this and finish off the rep, because we're trying to preserve the shoulders for higher quality turnovers, because like all the previous drills we talked about, that's the limiting factor. But you will notice when Jason does this next rep, he keeps really good positions. He keeps his trunk vertical and he pulls the rings low in his chest before he turns over. Common faults will be athletes trying to take advantage of the elasticity of the band and bounce, or we'll see them pull the rings apart early. Now that's something that you may get away with on a band assisted drill, but you won't be able to do that whenever you jump onto the high rings for your strict ring muscle up.